Hello, everyone. This is Ray Samuels for Toronto Business Journal. We have an amazing show today to talk about a fabulous initiative to bring together unvaccinated singles. So take it away, Ruth.
Hello, everyone. This is Ruth Ramos from Toronto Business Journal. Our lovely guest for today is the founder of Unjected. She is also a medical freedom activist and a mother of two. Let us all welcome to the show Shelby Thomson.
Hi, thank you
Awesome.
so
So
much.
thank you, Ms. Thompson, for coming us, join us today.
Thank
So
you
we're
so
all very enthusiastic and anxious at Toronto Business Journal to learn more about your Unjected initiative side. My understanding was that it had experienced a lot of sort of discrimination, a lot of problems along the way, just by trying to bring together unvaccinated singles in a community to as a support group to exchange interests, values, to connect with each other. And I believe your site is also about supporting local businesses outside of just dating. So we're
Yep.
definitely interested in hearing about that. And did you first start at Google Play? Like, tell us about your sort of first, what inspired you to bring together this site and and we'll go on to the experiences after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it started earlier this year when really kind of it was the vaccine rollout was happening and it was becoming evident that, society was kind of showing a shift, like one way or the other. It was, on social media and Instagram and Facebook, it's like you couldn't get away from it. It was everywhere. And then Heather and I, my co-founder Heather Blyle, we were chatting one day actually on the couch, and we were discussing the Pfizer study where they had talked about exposure in pregnancy and how that's considered through skin contact, inhalation, among other things. And we just thought that was really alarming, and a lot of people didn't really understand what that meant. And that's kind of when people started talking about being with a vaccinated partner and spike proteins, and how this may have long-term health consequences that we don't know about yet. And so we were like, well, people maybe need a place to start finding each other, to kind of there's like those initial first date questions where, are you this, are you this? But now it's so different. It's like, are you vaccinated? Are you not? So it's like, maybe we should just weed that out altogether and make a place for people. But then, myself, like I'm married. And so I was like, well, I'm not looking for a relationship, but people may be looking for friendships, because people have really lost good friends during this time, and even looking for businesses that might be, supporting their medical freedom of choice. So we just kind of spurred from there. And so we started with connections, which was for dating and friendships. And then we also had the community directory, which is just for businesses to go and list for unvaccinated, or, search for like job opportunities, like if you're being forced, losing your job for a mandate, things like that. And that's just kind of where it spurred. And then in May, when Tinder and all of the other big name dating sites all kind of had released their badges, we just kind of were in the right time at right place and time. And we had just gone live at the end of May, right when they had launched that. So it was just a spur from there.
So one of the things found was interesting is that I believe in an interview which I heard you on, you had something like a screenshot of VAERS statistics, and VAERS is a CDC approved
Yeah.
site,
Right.
and you got labeled misinformation
Yeah.
simply by excerpting a CDC approved site. So can you tell us a little bit more about that
Yeah,
experience?
absolutely. So once we had introduced a social feed to the app, it was basically like it looked a lot like Facebook, where you could go through, post, comment on others. And people were starting to, share their opinions and use free speech. And I didn't have any sort of problem with that. But, as a developer, I'm supposed to moderate misinformation by Google and Apple standards. And so I started receiving screenshot messages from both platforms, and they had gone through the social feed and actually circled and underlined specific posts, and they said that I needed to delete this or delete the people who were posting them. And of course I thought, that's asinine. This is this is America, and we have free speech, and they should be allowed to talk about whatever they want to talk about if we're all being respectful. And so, yeah, one of those posts was a stat of just VAERS statistics. And they had underlined that and screenshotted it and said I needed to remove it for vaccine misinformation, among many other posts. And then once I had gone through, because I didn't believe in deleting any of these things, but I had went through and I had made my own post, and I said, hi everyone, we do have app testers that come through when we make technical changes, just to ensure that it's working properly, but these are people with their own opinions, and they're reporting us because they don't agree with what we stand for. So if you can just maybe watch your verbiage, we're on the censorship tight line, and Apple said, as a developer, I'm not allowed to do that. I'm just supposed to delete them. So then that's when they had banned us from Apple. They said I had broken the rules.
So you had broken the rules simply by advising people how to respect their own rules about, what not to say and what's appropriate conversation. They just wanted
Right.
to delete people without warning.
Yep, exactly.
So, isn't it sort of like a witch hunt? I mean, they're just targeting unvaccinated people simply because they're unvaccinated and trying to use any pretext to oppress. Like, are you feeling a sort of a sense of being a part of some kind of witch hunt?
I think at times we probably all have. It's kind of what I think comes down to is, and how you had mentioned earlier, the media loves to talk about anti-vaxxers and anti-this, and it's really, we're not anti-anyone. We're anti being excluded from society for making medical decisions. And we just don't believe that anyone should be ostracized or slandered for that. You should never lose your job or your education for making a medical decision. And, it's easier for them to label us as an anti-vax group instead of a pro-medical freedom group, which is really what we are, because there's so many people in our community that are pro-vaccination, but they just don't believe in mandatory vaccination. And so it's interesting to see the witch hunt of some people understand it and other people are, they turn from it. Yeah.
Because like when you call someone like someone who's just unvaccinated, just a private decision. When you call them an anti-vaxxer, it's like, oh, they haven't got their measles shot, they haven't got their tetanus shot. Like it's a whole mantra, like you just labeling a whole group in this politicized, angry anti-vaxxer, like very politicized, prejudicial sort of labeling.
Exactly. Yes.
So, so you first started an Apple, and then you tried Google Play, and both of them banned you. Is that how it worked?
So we were both accepted at the same time on Apple and Google Play, and Apple deleted us, but we've been able to stay afloat on Google. We had to remove the, social aspect. So the social feed I took down because, I wasn't going to moderate the posts. So I just took it off altogether. And we've managed to stay alive for that. So it's still available on Google Play. But we do have something in the works for Apple. We've kind of been in discussion with them, with their, developer team, and they've stated that maybe we can come back if we just keep it for relationships. But I'm curious to see how that will work. But we are in the process of actually like recoding the app right now. It's being rewritten. So it's going to be really beautiful and redesigned soon. And so we're hopeful that when we do have that all resubmitted, but we'll get back on Apple too. But if not, we have some other plans for the browser version.
So people can still go to Google Play and be a part of the dating side?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can download it on Google Play, and then the website has all the same functionality as the app too. So if you're an Apple user and you can't download it, you can go to unjectedapp.com. You might have to do the full www because we deal with censorship a lot, but you can go there and use the dating site as well.
And it's free to join? Is there
It
different
is.
levels of membership, or how does that
It's
work?
free as of now. When we relaunch the new one with all the really fancy messaging systems and stuff, there might be a small subscription, but everything is still in the works.
And the membership is mostly from the States, international, like what sort of, any?
It's international, so we're in 80 different countries right now, and I would say the top three are just United States, UK, and Canada. But I've seen a lot of Australia. We get a lot of, some of the European countries have really been like coming in fast with some of those ratings. But we have about 26,000 people on there right now, and over 300 community listings.
Awesome. So that's good. You've been definitely doing a lot of good marketing and good conversation going on.
Yeah.
Is it possible also in terms of like all this weird kind of mentality going in the media, is there possible that people who want to push vaccinations don't like the idea of all these unvaccinated folks being able to socialize and connect with each? They just don't like that. They want people who are unvaccinated to feel depressed, traumatized. Oh, I better get the vaccinated because now I got no friends, nobody to connect with. I can't go to restaurants. I can't go to movies. I better get that vaccine now. Is that sort of what's going on here?
That's exactly right.
They want all us isolated. They don't want people to say, oh, there's other people who are like me who are unvaccinated and have all these values. Oh, if there's a new world out there, I didn't even know. They don't want that.
Yeah, they didn't want us to have the community. They're like, exactly. They're like, no, having fun without us. Wait a second.
So like the community part in terms of like businesses who are support the unvaccinated, they wouldn't allow that part, that the small business side. Is that what they're not allowing?
Say that one more time. So yeah,
Oh, sorry, I was just wondering. So you said you had before like a part where small businesses could kind of support connecting unvaccinated people.
Yeah.
So that part you're not allowing?
We still have that part. We just took off the social feed, which was like a Facebook, but the community directory is still there. So we're good on that one. And yeah, any small businesses. So it's basically, it looks a lot like Craigslist, where you can go through and there's different categories just to post under. So you can choose your category and then you can link it like right to your website, or you can just make a listing like with your contact information. And then we've kind of been in the works with all sorts of other things as well. Unjected connections and dating is kind of going to be a separate entity. And then we have Unjected, which is going to be more of a nonprofit umbrella organization to kind of help with educating communities on early treatment, the ivermectin, nutraceuticals. We also have some plans for vaccine detox protocols for people who maybe regret their decision or were forced to comply. And we also are working on a mRNA-free blood bank because they really, they're not labeling any blood, and that's a really big deal, and we don't know what those consequences are going to be. So Unjected is we're kind of shifting all sorts of different directions, but it's really great.
Awesome. Well, it looks like you're already a broad-based holistic business plan there.
Yes, all of it.
Awesome. So Ruth, do you have some questions for Shelby? Any insight?
Shelby, yes, is a medical freedom activist. I was wondering, what does that mean?
Just that, medical freedom is your choice to do whatever you want with your body, and no one can tell you otherwise. And like, for example, I had this friend who his mother was dying of cancer, and he did not want the vaccine. He did not want it. But he wanted to go see his dying mother in the hospital and spend his final days with her, and they were forcing him to do that. And that's just coercion, and making people go against their personal beliefs to make a medical decision isn't freedom. And so I just believe that that's really what Unjected started as, is this, just making sure that people have the choice to do whatever they want with their body without being ostracized, excluded, slandered, and basically told that you can't be a basic member of society without it. That's what we're not for. So that's what my medical freedom is for.
I see. I see.
Awesome, good stuff. So, have you had any feedback in terms of successful connections on the side? People
Yeah.
who are like, like dating or even married, anything like that?
We haven't gotten any marriages yet. It might be too soon still,
Too
but we
soon, maybe
have.
too soon.
We've gotten quite a few messages from users that have had connections. We've gotten some pictures back with them actually meeting up. We've had emails that say, oh, I just connected with someone. We both drove 3 hours to go meet each other and we hit it off. So it actually has been working, and it totally fills my cup when I get these messages. It's really fun.
That's right, because I mean, you're married in a wonderful family, and you're doing this like very altruistically, sort of giving back empathetically to people out there who are feeling isolated and disconnected. That must be feeling a lot of like self-affirmation that all this trouble you're getting is worthwhile for all the connections you're making.
Yeah, it is, and yeah, it's worth it all because I do want people to know that they're not alone, and there's millions of us, and the media plays a big part of making us feel like what we're doing is wrong, and that's not the case, and whatever feels best for you is your choice, and many people are also doing the same thing, so you can stay strong.
Definitely, stay strong and feel, persevere, and but definitely for singles out there, it's particularly stressful because I know that there are
Right.
singles who talk about, like they've been cut off from friends, long-term friends, family,
Yeah.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So it's very stressful out there to be completely isolated when you're used to being connected with a lot of people out there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's 100% when I see people, making those connections. And so, yeah, that's why the friendship, we introduced that in there too, because you're right. Friendships have been totally severed. And so it's relationships, friendships, family. I mean, it's everything. So yeah, it's kind of like a rebuilding process for us all.
So how do people people who want to get members of Unjust, would they just go to Google Play and then kind of like do a sort of a search for the Unjected? Is that how they would?
Yeah. Yeah, so if you are on Google Play Store, you can just go to your app store and search Unjected, and it'll pop up. We also have our Instagram page. We get deleted all of the time. I'm up to 8 times now. But we also have a link in there that connects to all of our websites as well as a download link. And that's at unjected_. So as of now, you can find us there. And then for Apple people, it's www.unjectedapp.com. That's where you're going to be able to access the site. And then we also have unjected.com, which is going to be more of the nonprofit organization side that I mentioned earlier.
Awesome. So is there any sort of aspect about Unjected, any message you want to get out there that you haven't been able to get? Because I know that, it's been harsh dealing with these anti-vaxxers label, and some of those media may be not getting the messages you want out there. So is there any sort of message you want out there that you have been able to get out there to people who want to connect with your site?
I so appreciate you. Thankfully, I think there's a few people that have written about, the medical freedom, but that would be the only thing I just say again, is that we're not just a big group of anti-vaxxers. These are people, your neighbors, mothers, brothers, sisters. These are, people that you know and love that are just making the personal decision to do something different. And we, love everyone just the same, and we don't want to be excluded for our decision. So, if you are needing to find new friendships, or you're maybe looking for a relationship that's with somebody that's going to be able to connect with you, come check it out. And, it's getting enhanced. We call it like dial-up speed right now. So we thank everyone for bearing with us as it's been technically growing, but we're hoping that it's going to keep on going to the moon.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like you've been doing an amazing work, you and your co-founder, Heather. Wonderful job out there. We want to thank you for taking the time to come to our show to share with us about your Unjected initiative to connect unvaccinated singles, support local businesses, support the community, bring people out of isolation, bring people to share common values together and interests, which are for medical freedom, not against anybody, but just simply trying to self-affirm their constitutional rights, to be who they are, to be free people of society, and not to be coerced in terms of how, you know, other people and our other groups want to control their body. People should have a right to control their body in their own direction. So we want to thank you again, and for coming to our show, Ms. Thompson.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Well, Ruth and I are grateful that you could join us at Toronto Business Journal, and we look forward to bringing more members to your app, so that your app can be even more successful by connecting unvaccinated schools together.
Yay, well, I can't wait to see everyone there.
Awesome. So thank you very much.